Okay, so we've talked about compound inequalities, and we've talked about conjunction and disjunction and how to write it together and graph it and all that sort of good stuff. So now we're looking at solving these two things. So first off, when I see it in this form, I automatically know that this is a conjunction, or sometimes we call them an and problem, okay? Which means that we're talking about a range of solutions, okay? Now this is set up really funny. So in order to solve this, we're going to basically separate this into two problems, okay? I'm going to look at it as this problem, which we'll write down as -3 is less than x plus 7. And then I'm going to use this as part of a problem. So I'm going to rewrite that over here as x plus 7 is less than or equal to 17. So basically you have these two problems squished together as one, because you can see x plus 7 is used for both these equations. In one case it's greater than -3, in one case it's less than or equal to 17. Remember, you always read the inequality from the direction of the variable. So because the variable is on the right, I'm going to read it right to left. I'm going to read it backwards from what we're used to. Greater than, as if we're going this way, and then this would be less than. All right, so the first thing I do is just solve this simple equation. So I got to solve for x, so I'm going to subtract 7 here, and I'm going to subtract 7 here, and that will give me 0, leave me with x, bring down my sign, and then -3 and -7 is -10. So this actually reads x is greater than -10. Okay? Then we're going to go ahead and go on this side and solve this equation. So we have -7 is 0, and -7 here is 10. So I'm left with x is less than or equal to 3. Now this works out really great because x is on the left here and on the right here. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to squish them together to make a compound answer. So you can see I can take both these x's and put them here, and then I'm going to bring down the right side of the problem, and I'm going to bring down the left side of the problem. Okay, and then this is my final answer. So just to review your steps in your notes, you want to separate these into two problems. So we'll bring one problem here and one problem here. The center is being used for both problems. So x plus 7 should be in both equations, right? Hello, eraser. Then we're going to solve each side, and then we're going to bring them back, or we could say marry them, back into one answer. Okay? So let's look at another example. Here, make that a little bit bigger, we have another conjunction problem. And I know it's a conjunction because this is being used in the center for both sides, and it's written together. So I'm going to take this and break it into two problems. So this will give me 28 is less than or equal to 78x. And then we're going to break it into the second problem. That middle is in there because it's used twice. We have 7/8x is less than 42. So we'll go over here, and to have 7/8 times x, so to undo that we would divide by 7/8, which means we need to multiply by the reciprocal. So when I multiply the reciprocal, that crosses out and that crosses out because it becomes 1x or just x. Bring down our sign, but now we need to multiply this by 8/7. And then this is 28/1. I could do some cross canceling. 7 divides into 7 once, and 7 goes into 28 4 times. And then we just multiply straight across. So it's 8 times 4 is 32. 1 times 1 is 1. So I can write 32/1. Or just leave it 32. All right. Same scenario over here. Multiply by the reciprocal. That'll cross off those 8s and cross off those 7s and leave you with 1x. But then we do the same thing over here. Put that over 1. Cross cancel. 7 goes into 7 once, and 7 divides into 42 6 times. Multiply straight across, and that will give me 48/1, or 48. So again, my x's are together here. So we're going to bring that down into 1. And then I'll bring down my right side of my equation. And I'll bring down my left side of the equation. And then this is it. Not too bad, right? You guys can do this. All right. And then we have the OR problems. And just like with the other stuff, the ORs are easier. Okay. So it's already set up into 2 problems. So I'm just going to solve those 2 problems. Right, so we're going to subtract 5 here. That gives me 0. That gives me 9. X is greater than 9. And here we're going to divide by 3. So it's going to be x is less than 3. So my answer is x is greater than 9 or x is less than 3. And we could graph it if asked us to, but I'm not going to ask you to do that tonight. So what I want you to do is go back and let's do a couple problems here. So I meant to move this earlier, but this is going to be your first problem I want you to practice. So you have multiple choice answers over there, and we're going to call this number 1. Then I want you to practice this one, and this will make question number 2. And that's it, you lucky dogs. All right. And then we'll go over tomorrow in class. Good night.